everyone. Welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. If you're looking at the bearded one, it must be Monday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. I saw you back there. 6 out in the... Sorry, I got thrown off now. 6 on Mountain Time, 5 on Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii. We are at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning out in Indonesia and about 9 a.m. out in Australia. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. If you have seen the bearded one before, welcome back. My name is Tom Springer. If you have not, welcome to the show. Thank you for showing up. Hopefully you'll enjoy the show tonight. Things got a little hectic just in the last few minutes. Erin and I decided to break the internet together. I think it's kind of our superpower whenever we're together, because it seems like the last 3 times we've done a show together, we have a good tendency to break the internet. So I blame Erin. She blames me. We'll just blame each other and we'll just move on. Anyways, I do have on a very special guest, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in Erin now, and we'll say hi to Erin. Hi, Erin. Hi, Erin. Bye, Erin. I was just kidding. We had Erin, but now she's gone. This has been kind of going since she and I have been trying to get online together. We're trying to figure it out. I believe it may be me, but I'm not 100% sure. Then it's because they're about to have really bad weather out in Florida, and her internet might not be working that great. Try this again. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Are you back now?
We're going to hope so. We are definitely going to hope so. I got to shut this door real quick, though. Hang on. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Oh, you go do you. So anyways, we have her, and we lost her again, but she'll be back shortly. So hopefully you guys will be able to tell me if it's me or if it's her who's losing internet. If you're seeing me okay, then at least we can narrow it down. If it's her and you're losing me, then at least we know one way or the other who's broken here.
Yes.
It's most likely my internet, because she has jumped through on my page. So if anyone lets us know what you're seeing, that would be very helpful. But in the meantime, hi, Erin. I got people that want to say hi to you. So Stuart's saying hello. Nicola's saying hi, Erin. Great to have you back on the show. Rosie's saying hello. Stuart is definitely right. He's calling out squirrel moments already, and we will have many of those throughout the show.
Permanent state for me, squirrel. Yes.
Yep. Uilana Ku'ule. Also, we call her Uilani, but most people call her Mary. She says aloha to everybody.
Aloha.
So everyone's kind of throwing in, saying hi. Stuart saying hello to you. Melissa, this must be one of yours. So Melissa Bush is saying hello.
That's my mother-in-law. Hi, Melissa.
Well, hi. Welcome to the show. I know. I'm like really curious about the last name. It looks very familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, welcome back to the show. You are a repeat offender, is what I call you.
I am.
You are. And we haven't talked since, for a minute. It's been
a while.
It has. I think last you were on was probably 7-8 months ago.
Yeah.
And this was planned on purpose because we knew you had a lot of things coming up that you were going to be doing before we spoke with you again.
Right.
So this was kind of the plan. And your most recent, I want to talk about first, but I want to have everyone who has not met you yet to be introduced to you. So do me a favor, as always, introduce yourself, let them know what you do and how you got brought into this world of what you do now.
Oh boy. Okay. I'll try and keep it short. So I'm Erin, and I am a Reiki master. So I do energy healing. I started kind of jokingly calling myself a paranormal girl Friday, because I do a little bit of a lot of things. My main gig in the paranormal field, I'm Andrea Perrin from The Conjuring, one of her assistants and handlers. So I get to do some traveling with her, help at events, things like that. And then I do some kind of graphic design work for some of the other YouTube shows out there. Dead Air Full Spectrum, which I co-host on occasion. I co-host Andrea's YouTube show, World Awakening, on Friday nights. I work as an executive director for Thriller Events. I'm a handler for Michelle Roos. I've got a part-time gig at the Conjuring House. And I run the help run the website for History of a Haunting podcast. So I do a little bit of a lot of things, and I fell into all this completely on accident. I've been super fascinated by the paranormal field since Ghost Hunters came out. I've been watching all those shows for years, and I quit my job in law in July of 2021. And people are like, "What are you going to do next?" And I'm like, "I have no idea, but not this." And so I just decided to leave it up to the universe. About 2 weeks later, Strange Escapes, which is Adam, Barry, and Amy Bruni's, actually I think it's Amy's event company, where they come and do events at haunted locations. They came to St. Augustine, and I'm like, I bought tickets, and that's where I met Andrea, and I have been on this crazy paranormal train since September of 2021.
And Stuart wants to know when you breathe.
Not
when
often.
does she breathe? So
when you're used to handling, several hundred law cases with crazy amounts of deadline pressure, this is easy. It's so much more fun, and I think I'm learning the admin side of this business is very underserved, and so I think I kind of fill a gap that a lot of people, because you guys spend so much time. You're doing your shows, and you're doing content, and you're interviewing people, and you're researching, and you're traveling all over the place. Most people don't want to spend the time creating a YouTube thumbnail, right? I mean,
yeah.
So that's where somebody like me comes in. I love that stuff. If you give me your most tedious, boring spreadsheet, and I love that stuff. So I just kind of fill in wherever somebody needs help, and that's kind of how I ended up here.
Yeah, fantastic. So
The short version.
The short version, yeah. And the thing is, I asked you to do all that, even though I literally pasted everything into the description.
Yeah.
I know that 90%
all that.
Well, I know that 90% of my audience does not actually read it. They literally look for the first paragraph to see who's on and at what day and time.
Right.
And they're like, cool. So
Perfect.
that's
there.
about where they go. And that's what I'm used to. So that's fine.
That's totally fine.
Right? And I'm kind of used to it. So whatever.
Yeah.
But so I will let you know that my internet is jumping back and forth. I saw that mine actually recorded a internet break, but it jumped back in, and I was able to. It worked right about. Yeah. So Nikki's like, "What are you talking about?" LOL, because she knows that nobody reads my write-ups. I use all this funny wit and information to write stuff up for you people, and
nobody even reads it.
Right? So now I just think I'm writing for myself. And Stuart says pictures work best. Well, Stuart, if I knew that almost all of my audience were officers in the military, then yes, pictures would work best. But I know that you all are smart enough to read. You have above that reading level to where the officers that need pictures. I can say that military always made fun of officers my entire life. So
absolutely.
So you've been kind of out and about lately.
I have.
Your last little, what was it, 10-day hiatus you were kind of on recently? Out
when I was in Rhode Island, it was 18 days at the Conjuring House. Yeah, 18 days on the property. Yeah.
Okay. So apparently this is your show, because Nikki's telling me that I froze, but they didn't lose you at all. So. So.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So that means if I'm gone, you just get to entertain the audience.
I'll just keep going. Right.
Hi, Kathy. Yeah, exactly. Just keep going like you normally do.
Right.
But you were 18 days there, and you posted just about every day.
Yeah, I tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it what I was able to read from it, which is okay, so there's a couple questions I'm going to have to ask about the Conjuring House. I will let you know full up that Nikki and I still have not watched Conjuring House. Still have not.
The movie? Yeah.
Yes, we still have
That's
not.
okay. I hadn't seen it until I started working for Roger and Andrea. I'd never seen it. I don't do scary movies ever.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, it's funny because right now on a lot of our channels, they're showing the Conjuring House 2. But Nikki's like, we haven't even seen the Conjuring House yet. We can't go watch that. I go, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch Conjuring House 2 first and have and
then go back
questions, and then go back and watch Conjuring House and see how it answers the questions. So maybe
it's interesting because they're not related at all. Only from the standpoint that Ed and Lorraine investigated all these different cases, but movie to movie, there's no tie. Like Annabelle, people think that Annabelle is part of the story of The Conjuring, or the parent story, but it's not. It was really a way to introduce the Annabelle part of the Conjuring universe. So they kind of just split that in there. But so yeah, it's really easy to think that they're all linked, but they're actually not. They're different locations, different places. I've only seen the one movie. I don't do things that contort or crawl or climb. No, I'm out. Yeah. So if I know that's happening, nope. Nope.
But when I saw you there, and I saw you, so Stuart's like asking, I'm not talking about not the documentary, the actual movie.
The movie The Conjuring, right?
The movie The Conjuring, yes. But when you were there, I know you as a friend on Facebook, so I see your daily posts anywhere, wherever you're at. When you post, I see it. But it seemed like when you were there was a different level of comfort and ease when you're there. It's almost like it's almost home. Almost like a Zen place to you. Yes. Very much. And it's interesting because not only can I read it in your words, but I can, I feel everything through, I can feel you through pictures. So I was able to get that energy from you through images and go, oh yeah, this is her. This is where her head is right now. Here's where her heart is right now, and stuff like that. So it was definitely a different vibe I was picking up from you while you were there than when you're just like, say, sitting at home and someone's off, playing golf somewhere in the world. So
setting up for other people to play golf somewhere in the world.
Right.
Yeah, but, it's an amazing place.
Yeah, so it's a different feel. So one of the questions that has come up now 2 or 3 times, and I've had 2 or 3 different answers, so I want the answer from the person, is the energy and what happens at the Conjuring House. Is it from the Conjuring House itself or from the land and the property it's on? Or
land.
Okay, it's the land. Okay.
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, but mostly the land, we believe. Okay. And of course, by then, at that point, the house is a byproduct of that.
Right.
There's not really anywhere you can go on that property, and it's not haunted.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the land.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get confused by that because it's called the Conjuring House, and that's instantly what their visual turns to. It's just the house, and that's what they show in the pictures, and that's what they show everything else is the house. So excuse me, I got hiccups really quick. But that was a question that I've had just recently in the last 2 or 3 weeks on my shows. Conjuring House has come up. And so that question has been, is it the land or is it the house? And Stuart is asking or saying he has heard there's a lot of bad activity and heard there's very little. Where are we at here?
So here's my perspective on the Conjuring House. I think, and Jacqueline Nunez, who's the owner, would agree, the house matches energy. So we know that the spirits there prepare for every single guest that crosses the threshold onto the property. So whether they're coming for a day tour or they're coming to investigate or they're going camping or whatever it is, the spirits already know who you are, what you're about, what your vibe's going to be before you've even walked in the place. So I think it's one of those things where like for me, it was very important to set, I talked to them a lot before I went up there. So I was setting intentions and, letting them know what I was coming there for and why. And because we learned it's important for them to know what your intention is. And so my experiences were great. I mean, is it haunted? Absolutely. Is the energy intense? Yeah. But it's what you make of it. So like for me, it was very much the perspective of I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
I've been given this amazing opportunity to go up there and work for a couple of weeks. I want to be a student of this place. Right. And I mean, ask them to kind of sort of take it easy because I had the dog that went
a
little too much for the dog. But I think for me, it was like, I'm just here to learn. That's it. I'm here to be respectful. I'm here to be kind. I'm not here to do anything other than do my job, you know,
Right.
learn whatever they want to teach me or not teach me. So I think, you have a situation where if you've got somebody who goes in like me, I think your experiences are going to be good ones. Because
Right.
honestly, you don't need the movie, of course, exacerbate. First of all, there's no demons at the Conjuring house. Let's just go ahead and get that straight because that's going to come out eventually, I'm sure. Anyway, do you have a lot of crotchety, old, grumpy spirits? Sure, but if you go in with a good intention, your experiences are going to be great. Now, if you're going to go in and provoke and be a jerk, your experiences are probably going to be the greatest. They scratch people. They match energy is basically where it's at. And it's hit or miss just like anywhere else. Although I don't think I had a single day that there wasn't something going on. Banging, knocking,
Right.
breezes, things like that. But I think it's all in what you're looking to get out of it
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
So Stuart, the answer to this one is yes. He was asking, did you stay on property at night? Yes. She was there for
I did. So basically what they have caretakers that are inside the house. So they're handling all the house stuff. And then I was brought in to help with the camping, which is a new thing that they're doing. So I was actually staying in this killer, like vintage camper. I hate to call it a camper. It's huge. It's like bigger than my condo.
Yeah.
And it's about 30 feet from the house. So it's still right on the property. My window looked into the kitchen window at the farm. That was my view in the mornings. So yeah, right on the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a better man than I. So
I live there. I love that place. I would live there. I cried when I left, just like I did over Halloween. And I can't wait to get back next week. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
I love it. It is like home to me.
So
I'm sure there's some past life connection somewhere or something. So.
I'm going to throw this up really quick, and then I'm also going to post it into the comments section so people. So here is Erin. All the stuff you can contact her with, Erin Bush. She has a Linktree site right here. And if you go out to this wonderful site, you will see a lot of information on her. I actually have it up, Erin. Oh yeah, I have gotten so much better at Facebook stalking than the last time we met. It's amazing. So it has a link to her Facebook page. It has a link to her Instagram profile. And then it has a bunch of links to kind of everything. It has a dead air links to like the Shanley Hotel, Haunted Scotland. Then you also have your World Awakenings in here as well.
Yeah.
Kind of everything back in here. But so there's a lot of things they can go out to look at in here as far as what you've done in the past, as far as recordings and everything else. But
right.
Again, I think some of the things that people need to also go out and look at is your Facebook page and your Instagram page as well. Because there's also a bunch of information out there about where you're at the time, what you're doing at the time, pictures of your awesome dog, all those wonderful things that they can learn about you, and they can see that you rambled off a lot of things that you do, but I don't think they understand to the extent of what you do for what you do. So, and this is a good explanation for it, that they can go out and go, holy crap, really? So,
yeah. Well, and I don't talk about a lot of it either, because a lot of the things I do are kind of things that sort of people needed help with, and I just sort of stepped in organically.
Right.
They're not all jobs where I got hired. They're just, let me help you with this. I just kind of, like I said, I fill in where there's a need as best I can.
Yeah, but it's nice to. I mean, like I said, I'm a follower of you. Not just because we're friends, but because I'm interested in the stuff you do, because you do so many different things, and it's really cool to see a lot of the different things you do. Now I just have to find a way for Nikki and I to come find you so we can go hang out with you at some point.
Right?
Right?
I'm in St. Augustine.
Being in the Midwest.
Not during hurricane season.
But
another time.
It would have to be during the summer when Nikki's out of school, because she's a teacher. Fair. So it would be during the summer, but when it's balls hot down there is when we have to be there. There's no happy medium.
Excellent tour guide too. Just add that to the list. So you guys come down. I'll play tour guide.
Yep. Uh-oh, I lost me. There you are. Now you're back. Actually, I'm back, I think. I think I'm the one who keeps getting lost.
We're back.
Yes. Oh.
Maybe. Audio. I can hear your audio.
I can see you. Okay, I'm back. Nikki says, yes, we need to do that.
Yes.
So.
Do it. Hey,
hi, Jen. How are you? Okay, well, at least you're seeing the messages, so at least I'm not totally lost.
Right.
I'm just partially lost, which is standard.
Me too.
But yeah, so I want people to feel free to go out to the site I sent. I also posted your site just now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So that link.
Thank you.
So they can go out there and follow your link. Those are the 3 wonderful places that I get to advertise to and do the show on. So everyone has access to it even afterwards. So because once we stop talking, it actually gets recorded and people get to go out and watch us. So
days in the internet forever.
Yeah, right. See, and Nikki's even saying, "You two are shutting this down." What the hell? So
wouldn't be the first time.
No, it would not. I'm telling you, every single time that you and I have gotten together, we have broken the internet. So it's something with yours and mine. Because remember last time I had you on, no, 2 times ago I had you on. I was in the old house.
The candle.
It completely melted the candle at the backside all the way down my wall.
Yeah.
That was the only part that melted out, which is the oddest thing, that it only melted. And you were like, holy cow, that candle's like way up there. And it was
freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nuts. So
the energetics are crazy.
I still have the skull that candle was in somewhere in here. But I do not have the candle anymore. That completely got destroyed. So hello, Miss Michelle. How are you?
Hey, hot stuff.
Your name has already been brought up before. So hello, young lady. Michelle is also going to be a repeat offender. She doesn't know that yet, but she's also going to be coming back on my show at some point down the road because I am asking her to. Fair warning, Michelle.
She'll do it.
Oh, I know. I love Michelle.
She'll do it. Well, and we're getting ready. She's going up to Rhode Island for the first time. For an event, so she'll have lots of stories to tell when she gets back as well. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I know for the most part to leave a lot of you folks alone during October because that's a big month for you all. So I normally try to scoop you up in like November and then not again till like January, simply because it's the stuff is fresh in your mind. But then Christmas is about to hit, and I try to leave you alone over Christmas, and then I try to start up again in January. So
you can bother me any time of the year you want. Doesn't matter.
I know, but I like to, but like I know that like for Michelle, I know October is just swamped. Michelle, damn girl, I just saw so I'm gonna kind of yell at Michelle here for a second if you don't mind.
Do it.
I just saw your recent post for the 3-location investigation you're going to be doing in October. I believe it's October 23rd or something like that.
October 28th.
28th.
Yeah, the 28th.
Yeah, 28th, right.
Yep.
No, it's over a weekend. I have to, it's 4.5 hours away from me and Nikki on a drive. But
you should do it. It's only one night.
I know. It's Saturday at 6 to Sunday at 3 a.m. I remember that part. So I'm going to try to see if we can swing that one. But the problem is that's the same weekend that we always do a haunted house for her brother. We always work a haunted house for her brother. So that's the hard part for us is are we allowed to miss doing a haunted house during that time frame? So
right.
Yes, Zhang. Yes, Zhang. I am sorry for your loss. She did post on there that her son's father passed away a couple weeks ago. So yes,
I saw that. I'm so sorry.
Hopefully everything's going better now. And he has grieved properly, and he knows that he is with him. So that's always good.
Yep.
But Michelle's telling me yes, there is lodging, so she's even making it harder for me to say no. That's going to be something that I have to work. Nikki, it's October 28th, the weekend right before Halloween. The 28th/29th. It'll roll into the 29th, and I was smart enough to take the 30th off, as I always do after we work a haunted house on a weekend. So And Nikki says
Yeah.
she's interested. So Michelle,
Good. You should totally do it.
Right? And the whole thing is
Yep.
I'm kind of mad because I was supposed to get the opportunity. We were actually going to go hang out with Michelle when we were when she did the YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go. That was either when I had to go to Okinawa or I had to go to Hawaii. One or the other. I was forced to go to work
Tough work life. Yeah.
Right. Good job, Amber. Amber's. I know what she's looking at. She's actually looking at my shirt. She's looking at my
Nice.
Kamehameha shirt, I believe, is what she's looking at, if I'm reading her correctly. And Nikki's saying, looks like we might have to miss a Halloween at the haunted house. So, Michelle, I will get in touch with you the same time I'm talking to you to come onto my show. But
there you go.
Yeah, so it looks like we may be heading that direction for a 4.5-hour drive, which is fine by me. I don't need to sleep. I never do anything, so it's perfectly fine by me.
That's overrated. Sleep when we're dead. Right?
It is, but she's going to come up and see you. You said she's meeting you. She's going.
We're going up to Rhode Island next week. So she's a speaker at Ocean State Paracon this year.
That's right. I actually posted that.
Yep. So we're going to be up there. That's the first time I've seen her since I met her in Vegas in December of 21. So I haven't seen her in almost 2 years.
Oh.
In like person. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Amber cleared it up. She said Spirit said to call me Chief, so she did. So, well, hello.
Oh, fair.
Okay. I think, what's weird though, Amber, I don't know if you know this, or I think this is the second time that someone's been told to call me Chief, and I don't know why.
Really?
So now, yes. Two totally different people that don't know each other are being told to call me Chief. So that's interesting now.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So Nikki did ask earlier, way before we got into all the side conversation squirrel moments, how long are you, and now Michelle, since I realize she's going up there, how long are you guys going to be up there for this time?
So we're flying in on the 7th. The event is on the 9th and the 10th. So it's a Paracon, just like, but it's in Harrisville, which is the same town where the Conjuring House is in. Yep. And it's basically to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the release of the movie. So we're in town from the 7th and we leave on the 12th. So she'll have Brittany's coming with her and another friend. So they're going to have some time on either side of that event to check out what's up in the area. Because really, up there, you're only about an hour away from Lizzie Borden House. Salem's an hour and a half away. Mystic's an hour and 15 minutes. So you're really close to a lot of things. So they're going to have some extra time to kind of explore and hang out. I'm not ignoring you. I'm scrolling through this because I thought I had this posted on my page somewhere. I don't know where it went. I literally just saw it. But now I'm running into all of my Hawaiian pictures, so now I'm just going to get sidetracked again. So I should stop doing that. Yeah, but yeah, it looked like a great lineup. It is a great lineup.
Yeah, it's just a lot of. It was just a lot of good people that I saw, and I was like, oh, that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, again, I'm in the middle, and it seems like everything happens on the coasts. So
I know, and I think this is her and Brittany's first trip to New England, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Yeah.
So they've not been to the Conjuring House. They've never been to the farm, so they'll get to meet, Jacqueline, and the Heinzens will be there. Andrea will be there. Cody and Satori. Keith and Carl Johnson are coming. Chris Rondina, Ron Murphy. There's a lot of people coming. Michelle's going to be a speaker as well. Yeah.
There's a big lineup. So it's
going to be a really cool event.
Yeah, she says first trip to the East Coast.
Yep.
So, and what's funny is that I've been up and down that entire damn East Coast numerous times, but never since I've had my awakening. Not once.
This is the first time I drove up. It was this trip, and I'm doing it again, I think, next month. So it's a pretty drive. But if we could just remove New York and New Jersey, either left or right, it would be much easier.
Right? It really would be. And she says she's going to be among some amazing people. Well, you are an amazing person yourself, young lady. So you are right. You'll be amongst your own peers.
Right?
The best way to say that.
Exactly.
Zhang's asking, is there going to be an
Bring it over to
investigation?
the East Coast side of things to meet some folks.
Right. Zhang's asking, will there be an investigation? Yes. Oh,
Yes. They're not going to be streaming it live, but they do have investigations going.
Okay.
Yes, but not live. They won't be streaming them.
So, Keith, this may be someone. So Keith is saying, check out Bridgewater, Massachusetts, close to Rhode Island.
I don't know if I'm frozen or if he's frozen. But to answer, if y'all can still hear me, to answer Zhang's question, they're not live streaming the investigations. Are you back?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello? Blessed. I can hear you.
Part of the Bridgewater Triangle, right?
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you. Even when I'm frozen.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes. Oh, wow. Hey, you there?
You know what? Hey, I'm going to hop out and I'll hop back in. Let me try.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I can hear you now. We're good. We were kind of glitchy for a minute.
Well, we still are, because it's funny because Nicole says she sees you, but she hears me.
Perfect.
So, okay, you there? Okay, I can see you blinking. So I was just kidding. Just kidding. Well, I don't know who you're listening to and seeing now, folks. So we're just going to kind of play along with it and see what happens for the rest of the night. Wait, and we're back, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. So sometimes what happens when we get talking about the farm, this also happens.
Yeah.
Where we get technical. So.
Well, we've had comments that have said, so Erin is frozen, but her voice is still there. Rosie said, I can see and hear both of you. And Nicole said, Erin's frozen, but we hear me. So we kind of have a glitch of all of us going.
So we're just going to blame it on Mercury retrograde because that applies right now.
Correct. I will blame it on that right now too. It's because it's definitely not yours and mine fault at all. I mean, we're never, can't be us.
Nah, can't be clearly us. Not.
There's nothing between us that can cause this issue at all.
No.
So, Nikki's asking, where's all the shungai? Mine's upstairs. It's actually sitting. I took it off and I had to put it in the windowsill so it would charge. So mine's
I have some up there, but you can't see it. It's way up.
Normally I'm wearing mine, but obviously I'm not. Instead I'm wearing I'm hanging out with my skull baby right now. So.
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah, he's a little rhino. He's a little rhino holding the rhino. So.
Have a baby Yoda Buddha.
Baby Yoda Buddha, yeah. Yeah. This is my little rhino that sits with me all the time.
He's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
for Christmas for Christmas, Halloween type thing.
I love tiny toys.
Right. Well, he's the only one that sits with me. And he's always sat with me. I don't know why. He's always sat with me since I started doing the shows.
So he's your lucky charm.
And I pick him up and I just kind of like rub the ears, and it's just my own little fidget spinner without spinning. So
hey, whatever works. I support it. I like it.
Michelle's going. Okay, bye, Michelle. Love you. So call your client and I will hunt you down. I mean, reach out to you later. So.
Also meaning I'll just reach out to Erin and get her schedule.
Right, exactly. So whatever.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we have all kinds of stuff that we're breaking. I mean, that Mercury retrograde is breaking right now and being blamed on us. And apparently this is not a fidget spinner because Stuart says I spin. So I hold it still, and apparently I spin around it. So that would make sense.
Oh, there you go.
That would be quite intriguing, entertaining. Wow, I don't know the last time I've had 14 different squirrel moments in a span of 3 minutes. So that was fantastic.
Oh, that's the permanent state for me. It's fine. I relate to squirrel really, really well. It's my preferred setting.
Right.
It's kind of the default.
Okay. Let me go back to where we were. Woo, way back when. I'm like rewinding right now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, let me tell you.
It is hard to do.
So, Conjuring House, you, Michelle, going there. Do you know? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to cause any issues, problems, anything else. Do you know that the folks who did the Harrisville Haunting, I don't know if that's a documentary. I think it's a documentary.
It is. I've seen it.
Okay. I have not seen it. Is there a different take on what you have compared to what they have? Because I haven't seen either one of them. Is it a different?
So, I mean, with the movie The Conjuring, that's a Hollywood movie.
That's the Hollywood. But if we're talking, you being there on the property all the time,
on the house,
and then you also did like the documentary. I'm like, there's also a documentary for The Conjuring, and I don't know if the Harrisville house is the documentary that people talk about.
There's several of them. I think the one I've seen the most that I enjoyed them, but was probably The Sleepless Unrest, which was Rochelle Stratton, Brian Murphy, Kendall and Vera Welton. I think that was a couple of years ago. Okay. But again, I think part of the job at the farmhouse now is to correct the record. There's so much misinformation out there about the location. There's so much misinformation that people assume is fact because a movie was made about it.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things like on the different tours we do where you're clearing up a lot of the misinformation that's out there. And so, really it stands on its own without needing the demonic side of things. I think, people can be disappointed that there's not demons in the house. It's like, why would you want to walk into that if you don't have to? Right. But it's, if you just let yourself experience the house as it is and then report the truth, because of course you and I both know you do a YouTube show, but you don't do like investigations like some of these bigger names do, right? Where it's everything's a demon because they want the clicks and the likes and the comments on the videos.
Yep.
I think unfortunately that does a lot of damage to locations because then, you get people that come out there to visit a spot and they're like, I've done all this research.
Yeah.
Which in any situation in the current day, it's like, sources, right? And when you start telling me your sources are, YouTube videos, you're not reading, you know what I'm saying? Like if you haven't read the books and if you're going to take everything for fact from the movie, that's fine. Like I'm totally down for that. Like there's definitely people that love the movie itself and they don't care so much about the historical side of it. And that's totally fine. There's place for both, but in that house, I think for the spirits, they're between the Heinzens and Jacqueline, they're establishing trust in humans.
Yeah.
Again, and the people that are the stewards of the house now, it's their main goal to be like, listen, we don't have demons here. Take the history for what it is. Pay attention, and I think for me, one thing I learned a lot is everybody comes to a location, and you'll identify with this because you probably hear this from people too. If I don't see it, it can't be real. And it's like, how many other senses do you have?
Right.
That you can tap into? I told this guy, he was this big burly guy. Right. Like if I don't have a spirit walking in front of me, then this place
But that's what I tell people. If I close my eyes and you talk and I hear your voice, you're trying to tell me that I haven't heard your voice because I can't see you when you're talking. We have an issue.
Right.
It's like when people tell me they can't see in 3D because one of the things I do at work is I go see in 3D and I throw a piece of paper at them. And if they move, I go, you see in 3D.
Yeah.
You saw it coming right at you. So
this is not a side-scrolling platformer, folks.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if people could just walk in with almost like a blank slate and be willing to at least learn the history as they're learning it now.
Yeah.
Because they're learning. I mean, they're just now starting to really peel the layers back. I mean, the amount of information they've gotten since Cody and Satori have started working in that house is astounding. So you're now having a situation where it's like living history more than anything else. Hi, Mom. That's my mama.
Oh, yay.
But it's you can get out of it what you want, but to me, it's like it's such a cool place to be able to learn, and I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. Like, check the preconceived notions at the door, and just let the place speak to you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That was so Nikki has a question, but I'm going to go back to what Stuart is commenting on because this follows more of what we're talking right now. He's saying, if I remember, they're both in sync with the land, the haunted, and the attitude you take with you and present as what is wow, slow written in English, Tom. Basically, what you see is what you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Words are hard for me right now, which sucks because I'm the actual, host. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
So we're going to shift gears for a second.
Sure.
And Nikki is stating, I'll go back to this question because it was before the freeze and the squirrel moments. What can you share about Shanley Hotel? I hear about it all the time with people investigating it. What kind of spirits are there?
We did I've not actually physically been to the Shanley. We did a virtual live, Ken DeCosta's group Rise Up were physically there. And I was able to virtual, we did a live stream at the Shanley. They've got a good mix of things there that, they seem to have a couple of grumpy spirits. But again, with the Shanley, it's one of those situations where are those spirits grumpy or are they demons? Or
Right.
are they, like, I think if people were to just try to sit down and listen and get information as opposed to just trying to assume what's going on, they'll find out. Like, I think one of the guys at the Shanley was actually like a mob hitman.
Oh.
And he's angry because people are, he's this horrible terror. I'm not saying he wins, prize of the year for gentleman of the year, but he was doing a job, right? So,
yeah.
But you have families in there, like an entire family. That they were able to connect with. So again, it's a mixture of a lot of different things. You've got some good guys, you've got some bad guys, you've got families, you got a little mix of a lot of things. But I've not actually been able to actually physically go there because I'm not actually an investigator.
Yeah.
They just sometimes want an extra sensitive to jump in on those live investigations, and I'm never going to say no to that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
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 Shanley's got a mix, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, we talked earlier about shungite, and for somehow my bracelet is missing, and we don't know where it is. So I literally wore it today. So now we don't know where it is because Nikki's like, I'm going to bring down your bracelet. And I'm like, okay. She goes, where is it? I'm like, it should be on one of these two locations, and she can't find it. So, okay.
Oh, geez.
Awesome. I love it when my own stuff hides from me. It literally does it on purpose, I think.
That happens to me too.
Right? And those aren't squirrel moments. It's not like I set them down somewhere and forgot. No, I put them down exactly where I always put them down. And they randomly run off, and then all of a sudden they'll show back up later. And I'm like, all right, did you have a nice vacation? Where'd you go?
Right.
I needed to this point, but no.
Right.
So
I misplace stuff all the time, but certain things you're like, no. There's certain things you don't misplace. And those are the things that tend to vanish and show up later.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I think especially for me, because I really don't rely on crystal stones, really anything too much. I am my own protector, everything else. But I do believe it will help with like equipment and stuff like that if I have it around. But I really think it's its own way of telling me, see, you can't get along without me. This is how much you need me. I'm like, you're a jerk. So
you're a jerk.
Right? You're a jerk.
Like, I will get through this without you, come hell or high water.
Well, actually, no. I have a large shungite here in my. I went and got my
shifted to something else.
Yeah, I just went and got the large.
I'm dripping in obsidian at the moment, so you know.
Yeah, I know. It's Yeah, so Stuart's saying the same thing. I have had things hide on me. Look where it should be several times, and later on it shows up. Exactly. I'm telling you, I think it just seems to disappear. Oh, Nikki has her head down, and here it is. So
she found the bracelet.
The wrong thing.
Oh.
Hi, hot stuff.
That's Nikki, by the way. Yeah,
dip in, dip out.
Surprisingly enough, she found my shungite bracelet, and she goes, she said I was looking for the wrong thing. It was right where I said it was. She just was looking at the wrong thing. So, mystery solved. So
mystery solved.
It was not lost. It was just a lack of understanding of what specifically my shungite looked like. So,
Fair enough.
Because she brought down like a bracelet that had black obsidian, tiger eye, and hematite on it, and I was like, no, not that one. She's like, well,
right?
Yeah. So that's why she just brought down the stick.
Oh, the shungite tunnel.
Yeah,
Hey, my computer is about to die, and I don't have my charger. Can I put you on for like 2 seconds and go grab it? I'm so sorry.
You go do what you do, lady. We have more time.
I gotta get the charger.
Well, go get it.
Right back.
Go. All right, everyone. Now it's just us. No, we won't talk about her while she's gone. That's rude. Jeez, people. Just because I think she can still hear me. That's why I said that. So, you know what? While she's away, I'm going to take care of this right now because, everyone knows that I have to look at my phone in order to figure out who on earth I have on next. I actually have a show coming on Friday. Yes, Friday of all days. I have one on the 1st. And it's going to be Bill Slevin, who has been on my show before. But we actually have on special guests. Hold on a second. Stand by. Tony Greco and Shelly Stokes and Ashley Draven. Now, there is down in Florida, there's a big Phantasm. I don't know if you want to call it a Paracon festival, whatever, but it's a combination of like paranormal and horror that's going to be going on down there. And
nice.
And Bill Slevin is going to be a speaker in there again, but he also has the owners that are going to be coming on. So they're all going to be coming on my show on Friday.
Very nice.
I'm doing a Friday show. So folks that know, that will be 7:00 Central, my time, which is 8:00.
I got that Eastern, wrong today.
Eastern, right, Erin? 8:00 Eastern, 1 hour ahead.
Yep.
So, and that is exactly. I don't want to use Erin as the example because she's not the example, but she has.
Oh yes, I am.
As one of the people in the example as to why when in the beginning of the show I always give out time zones. Because I have so many people that will post and saying, I was on here, but you didn't have a show. What time did you come on? 7. Are you on the East Coast? Yes. Congratulations, you've made the list. Because I am still in Central Time Zone, regardless of how many times
I certainly made the list today. Yeah.
Yes, I received an email, or I received a message from Miss Erin today saying, hey, I was in here at 6:45 and you're not here. And I'm like, well, that's amazing because it's only 5:55 here where I live. So you were not in at 6:45 my time. So I
blame it on the impending hurricane chaos that we're. That's correct. My excuse. I'm sticking to it.
That's what I would stick to as well. Yes. And Stuart is saying yes. It is on at 7:00 my time because William Nighthawk's show is on at 9. Our time as well, so he's 2 hours ahead. Or his show is going to be 2 hours later than mine. Same time zone as mine. People get that right. 7:00 my time, 9:00 my time will be me, and then William Nighthawk. So, and Nikki says she's going to see if she will be in her right mind on the 1st when I have that show because she's having her knee scoped that day. So yes, we'll see what kind of mind I'll be in after taking her to her appointment and getting her home after having her knee scoped. So.
Right.
Friday is going to be a busy day, but it happens. But yeah, so that's what I was explaining to them what's coming up next while you were going to get your charger. But yeah, so Friday, 7:00, I will have on the owners of Phantasm as well as another section. Give me a second. I'm going to read this out to them so I don't have to do it at the end of the night, which I probably will anyways. But Tony Greco, owner of Phantasm, Shelly Stokes, head of the Shock Reel Cinema Film Festival, which are the 2 that I had on last year, I believe. So they're both repeat offenders. But then we're also bringing in Ashley Draven, who is head of social media marketing for Phantasm. So all I'm waiting for now is an actual flyer or something with all the information on that so I can build an advertisement out like I did last year. But last year there was a really good, I think they said they had over like 100,000 people show up at that thing last year. So
wow,
it gets busy down there. So
yeah.
So that's what's coming up Friday. But now that you're back and you're all plugged in and actually charging now and not going to die on me.
Charging now. Yeah.
First it was the internet, and now it was just power. So, man, some people's kids
Tough crowd.
can't take you anywhere.
Right? Can't take me anywhere. That's a fact. That is a fact.
So, like I said, last time, though, we talked about recent. We talked about upcoming. What else have you been doing since we talked last? I know you've been doing a lot. But...
Yeah, I had my first trip to Mansfield, Ohio State Reformatory back in May. Went to the Parapsychon there.
How was that?
And that, awesome. That place, is huge. And it's probably one of the most well-run events I've been to. I mean, the Kathy and Greg Fiketic, who run Tri-C Paranormal, run that whole event that entire weekend with their volunteers. It was just amazing. But you get basically free access to roam that prison the entire weekend. I went up just to play. I didn't work that weekend. Andrea was there, but her handler Lynn was up that weekend from Michigan. And so I just got to play. And that was really neat because I've never been in a prison like that. I mean, I've as a paralegal, I have gone to jails plenty of times, but not for the purpose of investigating, you know? But to be able to go in a place that big with so much history, and something very much out of my element, because we did do a vendor night walk. We didn't do an investigation, but we did do a vendor night walk with the groups there. Yeah. And just to be in a place that big in the dark in the middle of the night and to see shadows darker than the dark that you're standing in, is pretty wild. Yeah. There are some places in that building that I got asked to do an investigation there, and I'm a hard no right now.
Yeah.
Too much for me. Like, I know what my lane is. I know where my limits are, and I don't have enough. And people are like, you've lived at the Conjuring House for 3 weeks. And I'm like, that's a very different ball of wax, right? Yeah. Because that, I feel like, is those kinds of places, you know, like Ohio State, you know, Tala, you know, any of these just massive, complex places that have horrible histories on their own. Yeah. I know myself well enough to know that that's too much for me at this stage of the game. So I politely wussed out of that because it's just too much for me right now, I think. Like, I just don't have my feet under me enough as far as investigating. And I have the worst jump scare of all time. So I'm not the person you typically want. Like, somebody comes around the corner in the daytime and I'm going to scream. So I don't know. I keep trying to tell people, like, I am not the person you want on an investigation. Like, baseline reading, sure. During the daytime, no problem.
Right.
But no, not for me. But that was a really neat place to visit as far as, like, historically. And then also, you know, they filmed Shawshank there. So to see that museum and, you know, the different locations they filmed. But their tours are phenomenal. The tour guide that we had was a guy named Gary Allen. And he's been a tour guide there for years, but he's phenomenal. I mean, I would find him all weekend long with questions, and he knew the answer to everything. So that is a place where the people are absolutely passionate about the location, the history itself, and then representing their groups at an event like that. So that was really neat just to get to play at a Paracon, because normally I have to work them. So that was fun. Different side of the card for once, you know? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So that was that. What else have we got? I've got Ocean State next week. I go back up to the Conjuring House for Halloween and to work as the caretaker there for a couple of days in October. And that's it for me for the year. Still doing the energy healing stuff.
Yeah.
But that's it for me for the year. It's been a light travel year, which has been nice.
Let me flip to that side of your living, your energy healing, your Reiki, everything else. Is this something that you can do distant, or that you can do online, or that you can do? Okay, so
only do distance and online. I don't really have a lot of clients locally.
Okay. And that's what I was wondering.
I got clients in Maryland.
Yeah, because that's why I'm throwing this back up here too, to let people know that you don't just play at the Conjuring House. You do a lot of other stuff too. And for those people that came in late, shame on you, first of all. I mean, welcome. That's what I really meant to say. But if you go out to Erin's link right here, down here, and it's also in the comments way over there next to her, but it's going to be way further up where I put them, before you got here. But you can go out there and find Erin with all of the stuff that she does at this link. Again, like I said, it is in the comments. You can go back and take a look at it in there on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube, because her whole page leads you to her Facebook, to her Instagram, to kind of everything she does. So you'll be able to reach out to her, ask her questions, see what she does, look at a lot of the interviews she's done, everything else. So this is a great link to go to for her. I would keep that in mind if you're curious about more down the road. Go out, check her out, all that wonderful stuff. Okay. There's my quick sales pitch.
I love it.
You would think I've done that before, one or twice.
Just a time or two.
Just once or twice.
Just once or twice.
Best used car salesman there ever is.
Right.
But I know someone, I think it was Nikki, actually told me that she thinks I can sell ice cubes to Eskimos. Yeah, that's.
You can see that.
Which is
it's
really
so funny because I don't promo myself for stuff at all. So it's great to do these shows because people like you're like, oh, here's this thing she does. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that, or because I don't have a website. I don't have. Yeah, I'm just kind of organically skipping along and. I'll end up somewhere eventually, or we're just kind of winging it for now.
Well, and it's funny because people are amazed that if they meet me in person, they see me on the show, and I have this wonderful personality. We'll go with that. But in person, I'm quiet. I am very much an introvert in person. I'm the one that sits back and observes and takes everything in because I'm actually getting your energy off of what you're doing and off of what I'm feeling, and I don't need to talk to you. So are we broken again?
Yes.
We are?
Same.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an introvert. I don't know. I think I'm one of those extroverted introverts. Like if I'm at an event, I'm talking to people, but typically if I'm not working the event, you'll kind of find me hanging out in the background somewhere trying to blend in.
So what I tell people that we are then because we do that, I tell people that we are chameleons. We can blend into any situation. Oh, very much. We can blend into any situation as required.
Yep.
Yes. So yes.
Well, like you said, you're trying to navigate the energy. Like I know for me, it's like, before I get 50 feet to a place or a person, I already got the skinny. I already know what's going on. I know what kind of vibe we're walking into. And I've learned with the state of the world we're in now, I'd just rather stay home most days.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that I've always known I've had, but and a lot of people who are around me now recognize it. If I walk into a room and I sense I'll sense you individually. And if I get that instant vibe of, nope, not that person, I will avoid that person. And
me too.
And I'm like, no, not that one. And it's very instinctive and it's very quick. It happens immediately. And, everyone's like, oh, well, you got to give that person a chance. And I'm like, no, my energy told me I don't. And guess what? I don't. I have that right to say, no, I don't.
Well, yeah. Well, and I think too, people will say, oh, well, they said so-and-so, so-and-so said such nice things about you. Now I can't find my words, but it's like, yeah, but this and this are two very different things. And they don't match. I'm going with the energy. I don't care what the mouth says.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So. Stuart's still calling me out. He's saying, outgoing on the surface, but your inner self, you keep mostly hidden. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I admit that more freely than anyone else probably ever will. I am definitely one who has the most secrets, but it's because I've had secrets my entire life. Nikki will tell you that we're married. You're supposed to share everything with your loved ones. She knows that much about me. Simply because of how I've grown up and the world I was in. So that's what she knows everything. But she doesn't know the past.
I think too, the other thing is when you're out here, and especially in this field, as I've learned in my short time in it, it is competitive. It is catty.
Oh yeah.
People are rude. They are mean. They are. I've been on the tail end of some pretty nasty stuff since jumping into this particular party, and it's like, I don't know. I think too, people will say, oh, well, they said so-and-so, so-and-so said such nice things about you. Now I can't find my words. I think too, the other thing is when you're out here, and especially in this field, as I've learned in my short time in it, it is competitive. It is catty. People are rude. They are mean. They are. I've been on the tail end of some pretty nasty stuff since jumping into this particular party, and it's like, I try to keep my personal life, like my home life.
Yeah.
Like, people know I'm married, but I don't talk about my husband a lot. And that's by design because
Right.
that's
Right.
my life. That's mine. And then I think too, it doesn't matter what people are going to say anyway. People are going to be mean or just who they are,
Yeah.
just by virtue of what their angle is or their agenda. I mean, I know for a lot of people, I've been told I'm not, they can see right through me, that I'm a fraud. I mean, I've heard it all in the last
Yeah.
year and a half, just because of, the situation I have literally just found myself in.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a part of us, or a part of anyone on the internet that has to sort of, even on, I mean, I'm not anybody. I'm a tiny blip in a very big paranormal field. I just happen to be a very tiny fish with some really big fish that I work for.
Right.
But if somebody like me is getting the amount of grief, like the amount of, I think what happens is people get like envious of situations you find yourself in that they wish they had done. So instead of just being nice about it, they just start to,
right, saying
spread rumors and make stuff up.
And yeah. Instead of doing the correct thing, they do their thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And Nikki says, yeah, so much para-unity. Yeah.
Para-unity. If I ever hear that word again, it'll be entirely too soon. I think that's the biggest part of my language, crock of shit on the planet. And people.
And it's so funny because a lot of people think that I have a lot of like push, pull, whatever in this field because of the abilities I bring to the table. I don't.
Right.
I don't know anybody. I mean, I know the people that I interview, but in the outside world, I don't know anybody. And it's funny because when I'm on Facebook and I see like this person yelling at this person, and I'm like, or they're just writing their very vague bullshit, this person, blah, 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 watch out for this or whatever else. And I'm like, you know what? Not only am I really happy that I have no clue what you're talking about, I never want to know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because apparently I am really happy in my small little world with my blinders on.
Yeah.
To continue to do this type of show that I don't care what everyone else thinks. And I am one of those that if someone tells me something, whether it's about myself or they confront me like say about you, I don't give a rat's ass. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one and most of them stink.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's really that way that I'm just like, I don't care what you think, what you have to say, because I know what I know. And I trust me more than I trust somebody that I'm just Facebook friends with, Well,
and I think you have a lot of people who are leading, they think they're helping. Oh, I'm going to message you about so-and-so, and I'm going to trash so-and-so. It's like, listen. Right. Like, come on, grow up. Be an adult. Right. Like, there's so many snakes in the grass in this field. It's insane. Yeah. So I know for me, I just started making my circle smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And I could go on this soapbox forever, but I'll say this. Like, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people assume because I kind of came out of nowhere, which is true, that I must have basically like slept my way to the top kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, here's how I got here. And I think I addressed it in one of my Conjuring House posts. I'm like, all I've ever done is work really hard. I've always tried to be nice. I've always tried to help people when they needed help. I've always tried to lead with integrity and do the right thing. If that makes you hate my guts because I get neat opportunities because I've just been a nice person.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm really sorry. I didn't sleep with anybody to get here. I didn't ask anybody for anything. I've just literally tried to be a helpful human where I can. And I've just had all these neat opportunities fall in my lap. And so I think I finally got to the point where I was sick of apologizing for that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
I am, oh my goodness. I think Nikki is very afraid of when we actually go to a Paracon because no one's going to know who I am. And those that do only know me from my small little world here. But if someone wants to approach me as, well, he's a charlatan or he's fake or he, all he does is this little show. So how can he have this much abilities? Because he doesn't ever show it or ever doesn't do anything with it.
Blah, blah,
I was warned before when I go to a Paracon to make sure that I have a group of friends around me because otherwise I will be bullied. And I am like, oh, I am so looking forward to that day when I show up on my own. because
I'll tell you
I
what,
am
man.
probably the worst person to try to bully ever.
I was in Ohio, and I had this woman who was horrific to me several months ago, just lambasted me privately. Fortunately, I don't air my shit on Facebook
Yeah,
Live or anything
I,
like that.
I
Like, if
don't
you're
either.
gonna have an issue with somebody, don't do it in public. Like, be an adult and handle that outside.
Right. We're not in high school
Um,
anymore. Yep.
we're not. But I knew she was going to be at the event in Ohio, and I thought, all right, well, maybe this will be a time to like reset and just be like, hey, can we just like start over? Let's,
Right.
And I saw her from 50 feet, and it was daggers, murder, red, pointy energy, and it was like, yeah, okay, no, we've read that energy. We're just going to stay away from that all weekend.
Right.
And that was fine. But I finally got to the point where it was like, okay, so people are mad at me because I'm just getting to do neat stuff, but they don't have a clue of half of what I do when I'm not
Right.
doing this.
Right.
And so I finally just got to the point where it's like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. If you don't like me, you want to block me, unfriend me, whatever. I don't care. I'm just trying to be involved in this community. I'm not trying to take it over or anything. Right. I just want to help. That's it. And if that brings, gives me some neat things I get to do as a result of being helpful, then great. But I think it's the biggest thing is my dad always said, high motivation, low expectation. And where interest lies, honor dies. And those two phrases are so applicable in this field. It's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, personally, I have not had it thrown at me yet. I'm just waiting for it to, because I'm gonna have such a field day with it.
Yeah. I now
I
have permission. I don't have to be nice anymore. I was always trying to be super nice about it. And then the powers that be, I'm like, how do you want me to handle this? They're like, girl, say whatever you want.
Yep.
So
yep.
Hopefully it's done, but if it's not, I won't be as nice.
Yeah. And that's how I certain things I am very, very nice about. And I do my best to be nice. But there are some things that I do not ever expect to be nice about. And attacking my character or my integrity, I will never start out being nice about. I will just you from the beginning. Because
I think too, the sad thing about this field, and you tell me if you agree with me, is I feel like it used to be you were into this stuff because you wanted to learn about the afterlife and the history of a place or the stories of these people or whatever. I'm trying to figure out when the shift became, it's not about that anymore. Now it's about which celebrity can I hug and get my selfie with and put it on the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
We've somewhere in the mix lost what we're here for.
Seen that. And you know what? That's funny that you say that, because I don't know who saw my post today, but Zoe Roxanne Starr, I was on her show a while ago. It's a YouTube one that she does. But she posted, basically write something that you feel someone needs to read today that will resonate with them. And I wrote to them, you need to remember that you were not put on this earth for fame or for recognition, or what did I say? I said you were put on this earth to be a light, to help others, and to give hope when there is no hope. And that's actually and that's exactly what I wrote today. So it's funny we're bringing this up.
I love it.
Because that's exactly what I wrote.
True.
So yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of us who are in it for the right reasons. And I know for me, I mean, these shows I love, I didn't even know there was this whole world of YouTube shows out like yours and, Entity Voices. I mean, all these ones, that people I didn't even know before I fell into this. But I've learned a ton, whether it's you or your guests, or like, I've just decided I've been given this really neat opportunity, plural, and, one day they may decide to kick me off the paranormal train. They may be like, Erin, it's been real, it's been fun, but now it's time for you to go. And I want to be able to look back on my time in this field and be like, all right, I did everything I could to be helpful. Like you said, helpful, kind, how can I make things better for people?
Yeah.
And learn a lot from it. Like you get experiences and opportunities, or you get involved in a community you're passionate about.
Right.
I always want to be the one that's learning. Like it's never been the starstruck side to me. And I think people find that funny given who I work for and with.
Right.
But I mean, I spend time like at Cody and Satori, and people are like, oh, well, how often do you have them do their thing in your house? Never.
Yeah.
Never. They're my friends.
Yeah.
They're normal people just like everyone else. Like,
Yep.
you know, if we're at the Conjuring house, we're going to eat tacos and watch Disney movies
Yeah.
or whatever. Or they come to St. Augustine, you know, we're going to go to the beach and chase lizards or whatever it is. I mean,
Right.
for me, it's never been about the fame end of it. The way I look at the celebrities is if you've watched all these shows, like I had for so many years, for that split second, you're like, okay, I have this person in front of me now. Am I going to spend it trying to get the perfect selfie, or am I going to take 5 minutes and pick their brain and ask the questions I've always wanted to ask them?
Right. So outside of this realm, outside of the paranormal realm, I do have a lot of friends who I have come across that are relatively famous. There's a handful of in my family. And the best thing one of my uncles ever told me is he said, if you see us in person, do not treat us like a celebrity, treat us like a person.
Yep.
Because that's their show. That's what they do for a living. When you see them, they want you to treat them like a normal, everyday person. And they said that's actually the best thing you could ever do for them is to treat them like a human, not like a celebrity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%
and
agree.
because they find that so much more intriguing. I mean, there's, when I, prior military, and I have ran into a couple of presidents in my time, but I don't have that shock and awe value like so many people have. They'd be like, oh, this is President so-and-so. And I shake their hand and I go, nice to meet you, Mr. President. And I'd walk off. And people are like, what the hell? I'm like, person, handshake. So what do you want?
We put our pants on the same way.
Is he going to sprout wings? Then we're going to have all discussions. Otherwise, he's just jacking up my paycheck right now. So
the only person that really kind of knocks me off my guard, and it's just because I feel like he's so much of the reason that I'm sitting in this chair because I watched his show first, is Jason Hawes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's so nice. I mean, I've met him twice. He showed up at the Conjuring house. We were showing the movie this summer with his wife and a couple of the kids. But it's not so much that starstruck thing. It's more that like you're responsible for basically all of this.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, the TV side of it and, getting people getting it to the masses. I mean, Paranormal State, Ghost Hunters, but he's like the only one that renders me like he makes me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. I will.
And I told Tori that and she's like, oh God, but it's just people like that have done so much for this field and bringing it mainstream and allowing people like me to have jobs in this field that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's like, I have like Cindy Kaza. I got 10, 15 minutes to just hang out with Cindy Kaza. She says, do you want a picture? I'm like, no, I just have like 6 questions. Can I ask you all these questions? Because I want to be able to say I've learned something. Like I want to, I'm still new in this field. I have a ton to learn. So I want to keep learning.
Yep. And I'm the same way with that. I tell people all the time, why is it called this? Why is my show called Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook? Because every time I have a guest on, I don't care if you're a repeat guest like you are, or you're brand new, or you're someone big, or you're someone small that I met at my Mystic Fest that's here in Omaha. Guess what? I'm going to learn something new. And the whole thing was, guess what? I may not even learn it from you. I may learn it from the list of people that are next to you in my audience that may say something. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. So and this is designed to bring on. This show was originally built, as a lot of people know, was because I had nowhere to turn to when I learned I had abilities.
Right.
So it was built for people that are like me or have an interest that wanted to come learn from people who did have abilities or do have abilities or do have something they can share with us.
Yes.
That's how it started. Now, the fact that now I do cryptid and UFOs and everything else is just a bonus for me because it lets me expand my knowledge base to a lot of stuff I never knew I was interested in until I started having people on. But initially, that's what it was designed for. It was a learning channel. And it still is. I mean, now people got to put up with the bearded one and all the squirrel moments that me and our guests have. But the benefit they get out of that is they all get to learn something from somebody, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
So,
and see, that's what I wish more people did. Like, that's why I've always liked your show, because it has always been about learning from other people and learning new things. And I mean, you never know, like what rabbit hole you might put somebody on that they fall in love with forever. And they may not have done that if they hadn't watched your show. And I think the other thing, and you probably with interviews too, like when you interview celebrities, I know I got to interview Michelle Belanger and I about freaked out because she's so fascinating to me, such a scholar. Like, she's one of those people you just would love to interview, but you never think you're going to have the chance until it's 5 minutes in front of your face and you're, you know. But I think too, for people who are celebrities of the paranormal, they get asked the same questions often, right? And I think shows like yours, Ken's on Dead Air, they're trying to foster conversations that are outside of the same fight. What's your favorite haunted location? What's your biggest scare? Like, everybody asks the same thing, and that's great because it's important, and you have a ton of new, like, first timers. But I always feel like it's worth going the extra step to find, like, for Michelle Bellage, it was energy work. Yeah, she has her own energy system.
Right.
I didn't know that.
No clue.
So it's like, if I'm going to get to interview somebody like that, you're damn right I'm going to take the opportunity and ask the questions I've been dying to ask for the better part of 15 years, right? Because again, learning, give me more knowledge. I want to eat more knowledge.
And that's how, so first off, Stewart's even sharing knowledge that says that he stepped on Richard Chamberlain's real toes. Does that count as normal back in 1968? So see, I just learned something new. That he stepped on Richard Chamberlain's toes. But there's other things that I'm learning, like, and that other people are learning. I guarantee there's at least one person on here in my audience and who will watch this recorded. Yes, I talk to you guys as well. That you are very well known for being a caretaker of the Conjuring House. But how many people have learned by watching the show that you actually do distance Reiki healing and stuff like that simply by listening to the show today? And they're like, you know what? I haven't found a Reiki healer that I'm either comfortable with or that I resonate with or anything else.
Right.
Maybe Erin's the one, type of thing. You'll never know unless you try, type of thing. So
yeah,
it's I don't care how small of a detail that someone is learning, as long as you're constantly learning, which is exactly why I know I told you this the very first time you came on my show. I just don't repeat myself to you for the opening before the show. But for folks that don't know this, when my guest comes on beforehand and we sit in the back room and we chat before the show comes on, a lot of times I get asked, what questions are you going to ask me? Or I get sent a question during the week before of what's your list of questions? And my answer is always none. I don't have a pre-canned show. And I tell them why. I say, look, the only question that I actually ask every time is, how did you get into what do you do? And can you please introduce yourself? Those are my standards. After that, I never ask a pre-canned question, because I always tell them I want to be just as surprised as the audience is when you give an answer, because it leads me to other questions I may have never thought about.
Yes, 100% agree.
All these pre-canned questions of, what's your favorite place to go hunting? What's your favorite piece of equipment to use? Blah, blah. This is the stuff that we get to talk about. And this is how squirrel moments get created in such and just such a natural state, which is fantastic to me.
Yes.
And Kathy, thank you very much. Yeah, Kathy's saying, that's why I watch the show. I've learned a lot. Has opened a whole world to me that I know nothing about. I find it fascinating. So thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. But yeah, and that's really why the show runs so well. Mostly, I think it runs well because of two reasons. One is because my audience, I call my family, they are fantastic. They are wonderful. And the other part is my guests. I don't care who I have on. All of my guests have been amazing. And it's surprising to me how many of my guests are like, I'm so nervous, or I don't know if I'm a good interviewer. I don't know this. I go, guess what? I know how to keep an interview moving. Do not worry.
Right.
You will not be nervous. It's literally you and I having a conversation with a bunch of people over there listening in and commenting and asking questions when they want to. But it's literally you and I having a conversation. And when I explain that to them, you can kind of see them relax. And they're like, okay, that I'm not expecting of anything, and you will help lead me to where I need to go. And I'm like, absolutely.
Right. And there's no test at the end.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no written, there's no driving, nothing. So
this is more realistic anyway. I mean, like, when you have people on the show and you have tech issues, or like my dog is notorious for jumping in on a live, barking his head off for no reason. Like, that's
that, that
real
was
life.
That was last time. Yeah. Last time we had friends. Yeah. We had four-legged
So
friends. It was fantastic.
we had four-legged friends, but it's like, these are, and I think the same with our paranormal celebrities. I mean, everybody's just normal.
Yeah.
Everybody's just a human. We're all just trying to survive the planet and all the chaos that it brings. And it's like, just be nice.
So I'm really
Not
proud. I
hard.
gotta tell you what I'm really proud of when I do these interviews. There's been a couple times when I've had people that are they're not famous, but they have like a lot of followers or whatever else.
Sure.
And I ask them a question, and they get that look like, I don't know how to answer that because I've never been asked that question before. I'm like, yes, I did it.
Yes, I get it.
What the heck? How did you?
Or they light up like,
right. I can answer this.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I got to bring us back to the show.
Yes.
So I'm going to come back to the question in a second. I'm going to talk to Mary really quick. Thank you, Mary. She says, thank you. Thank you. Your show helped me a lot for me. I did recently find the shitty side of some people don't want you to get ahead with your gifts, like your competition with them or something. So learning from me is watching your Facebook lives and Joe's lives. So thank you, Mary. I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
I absolutely agree. And Brandy, Brandy, hi. She says, hi, Mrs. Springer. I love watching live, but if I can't make it, I tried to watch and recording it. I love it. So thank you, Brandy. I know Brandy and I are friends now, so that's fantastic. So Brandy, if you want to write me notes, write me notes. Let me see. Which one was it? It was one further up. Oh, it was just a very simple question for you. I think it's for you. It might be for me. I don't know, Brandy. You have to answer this one. It is, how did you figure out you had abilities? Because you're a sensitive. You read rooms very well. You pick up on a lot of stuff. And me, I'm just kind of all over the place with abilities, so I don't know.
I am too.
So
I'm still learning. Well, but see, you and I are interesting because we're
like
part of that class that came in later.
Right. I would say our abilities, our awakenings happen so close to each other. And I think that's why you and I have such a good resonation between each other, is because we're so similar.
Still trying to figure this shit out.
Right? It's almost like I'm talking to a little sister.
I know.
Right? And I'm just like, I don't know how this works. Do you? No. Oh, great.
Like, one of us will figure it out. It's fine.
Right.
It's all fine. Everything's fine.
You go ask mom. I don't want to go ask mom. You go ask mom. I don't want to go ask mom.
Right. But I know for me, it was like once I think I've always had abilities, but I think that now that I don't know if you feel this way, but first off, I had to get sober. I had to get sober.
So keep moving on to the question, because you're about to answer this for the both of us. When did we realize? How did we figure out we had abilities? You're segueing right into this with your statement you're about to say. So go ahead.
Yeah, I had to get sober first, and then I had to find someone I could work with, help work through some trauma stuff, but also had kind of a more of a shamanic type practice to resonate. And then when the door blew open, it was like all of the things. But I think for a lot of us who are kind of figuring out we have abilities later, we've always had them, right. But there are things to us that are normal that we just assumed everybody else was able to do that we then find out later on that they can't. And you're like, oh. So I know for me, I still have trouble kind of being like, okay, well, is this my ability? Is this an ability? Or is it, you know what I mean? So right. There's still that sort of dance, I think, that I'll always do.
Yeah.
In navigating them.
And that's kind of how I am the same. Because you and I have a lot of, we talked about this before, because mine's about 1.5 years old now from my awakening. And for me, Brandy, it was, I actually realized I had abilities when I walked into an investigation and saw the dead person talking to me, and I was talking back to her like she was standing there like a normal person. And people said, how long have you been able to do this? And I went, about 30 seconds. Is when I realized I was able to do it.
Right.
But before that, I've always had the knack or the ability to know when something mostly dangerous was about to happen. I've always been able to almost have a premonition of when it was going to happen. And I've always prevented it, like took actions to prevent it from happening before it happened.
Right.
Whether that was changing lanes, whether that was working with my team out in the field, and I just had a sense that bad stuff was about to happen to bad people, so we had to get out of the way type of thing or whatever. Mine has always been with me, but unfortunately there are times when I feel really bad about my abilities, like yesterday when I was watching golf and one of the guys hit a beautiful shot, and I went, oh, I get the feeling he's about to hit this into the water, and he hit it right into the water, and I went, damn it, sorry. It's like I apologized to him.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I felt bad about it. But no, for the most part, it was my abilities. I really learned that I had them about 1.5 years ago when they came on full force, and they continue to advance or grow or
morph.
Add more, I should say.
Add more. Add more is probably the better of the
more. And I'm like, what? Why? What?
Yeah.
Haven't I learned what I was supposed to learn? They're like, no, just kidding. Here's another one. And I'm like, oh.
Here's another one to figure out.
Right.
Well, I think too, from an energetic perspective, like, you know, we have a lot of friends that have always had these abilities.
Right.
Like they just, you know, and of course life for most of them was difficult, you know, because parents didn't believe or whatever the story is.
Some people shut them down when they were younger or whatever else. So
yeah. And I think now for those of us who are sort of coming into that, I think what's happening is you've got, you know, a world in such turmoil. So all these light workers are just spontaneously awakening, no matter, you know, how it's going for them, you know, whether it's just happening because we need more people who want to help raise the vibration of the planet or whatever it is you're doing for the, you know, for the good of humanity or whatever. But I think it's happening because we need all of them that we can get. So it's happening to a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah.
High sense of intuition. Yes.
Intuition, yes. So let me ask you this. Well, this will be an interesting question because I just answered it for myself in my head for me, but I want to see what yours is. Is there anything that with your current state, your current abilities, your current whatever that you are in right now that you have a regret about?
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say regret, but I would say as an empath who gets a lot of information, like we were talking about, like when, you know, somebody's 50 feet from me and I'm like, oh, there's a divorce. And, you know, there's this, you kind of feel bad about knowing the information because you haven't talked to this person. You haven't even met them, but yet you know all this stuff. So I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Because I know things I shouldn't know a lot of times.
Yeah.
But that's not something I can do anything about.
That's unless you shut yourself down, that's not something that's ever going to go away. And you don't want to shut yourself down. So no. I will share mine online with everybody. Mine is actually the fact that I don't ask for help enough. I know I don't. I am terrible about that. You know, I'm like, well, I don't want to interrupt so-and-so because they're so busy, or I don't want to ask so-and-so because I don't want to feel like I'm bothering them or something else. So I really, instead of, you know, and that's why I think that's a lot of times why I say that I'm so lazy. It's not really because I'm lazy. It's because I haven't gone out to search the answer, and I just don't trust like YouTube answers, or I don't trust something that someone just randomly tells me that I don't know. I'd rather trust people that I know, but I don't want to bother them. And now my wife is calling me out of like, or is it too lazy? You are too lazy to work on it. Which is like, I said I was lazy. Which is also another part. I am very lazy when it comes to working on like myself, but I do. Yeah. See, she said that we are again. I am saying what she is typing. So
nice.
Yeah, we do that way too much. But there are a lot of times I'm like, God, I got this question. It's in my head. And I always get told, just send me a text. I'm like, I don't want to bother you. They're like, literally, it's a text or it's a phone call. It's 2 minutes, you know? And I'm like, but I feel bad. And they're like, stop.
I can relate.
Well, but I'm always been that independent, rely on myself. I don't want to, you know, but that's my one regret that I have right now is I have not learned how to overcome that. Even saying it out loud, I still know I won't do it. So.
Oh, dude, me, same issue. It's a imbalance of masculine and feminine energy because I learned for those of us who like, I know for me with like high stress jobs, you know, like paralegal or, I mean, you obviously know high stress jobs, your masculine energy starts to take over your feminine. So masculine is like fix it,
Right.
go get her, do the things, and feminine is more like receiving,
Right.
help, ask, like, so somewhere along the way for a lot of us, that energy just went whoa, like masculine way up here and feminine down here. And so it's very hard because I'm the same way. I have the worst time asking for help, and some of that's hyper independence probably about certain things. But I'm with you on that. That one's a hard one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Asking for help. That's a tough one.
So Brandy states, I am not sure if it is abilities, but when I was younger, I would see family members that had passed, and my other family members always questioned me, knowing those members had already passed. But now I don't see as much. But when I see death in my dream, those people have passed in the past few days or upcoming days. I'm not sure how to control it. Sorry for this being so long. Brandy, that is an ability. There is a way to control it, but it's practice. You would have to find someone someone else who deals with this. I actually know a couple. I'm sure you know a couple of people who do this as well, but I have a couple of friends who deal with this as well. If you want me to, I can try to put you in touch with them to see if they can help you kind of either control that or understand it. I can help you offline with this, Brandy. I do know a little bit about this since at one point pretty recently, I was with my niece who I hadn't seen in an ungodly amount of years. We sat down to have dinner or have lunch. And as we were talking, there was a face that came up over her shoulder. And I went, your grandfather's sitting over you. And I can see him clearly. And he's saying, I'm sorry. And she goes, which grandpa? And I told her, she goes, but he's still alive. I go, oh, I know. I go, but he's showing himself to me right now over your shoulder. So I don't know what this is about. Well, when she got home, she had received a phone call that she missed that morning her grandfather had passed away. And I was seeing him over her shoulder as he was passing. So she was like,
I get that.
And she was like, wow, that really creeped me out. She goes, and this is the first time she's seen me since I've had my awakening. And the first thing I'm telling her is, hey, by the way, your grandpa's saying he's really sorry, but he's passed. And she's like, but I just saw him last night. And she's like that. And so she gets a hold of me like immediately. She's like, how did you do that? And what the hell happened? I was like, I'm sorry, but this is what happens now in some of my life.
I have had that happens to me. I get them right as they're dying, or short, like almost within a few minutes after I've had a handful, 4 come to me with specific things. Yeah.
So see, Brandy, it's definitely an ability. Now the question is if you want to pursue it, to understand it, and to accept it, or if it's just something you're like, no, I don't want to deal with, I don't want to do. You have that ability to shut that down as well. That is your right. That is your call. On which way you want to do that. But again, you know how to get a hold of me. You can ask that stuff offline, and I can reach out to others who may be able to help you with that. So,
but to your point, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you.
It is, and I think that's what Nikki's mad at me about, because I really don't practice, but I also have a rule that I don't practice in my house. I really don't open up in my own home. But I also don't practice because I've also been told a handful of times now that because of how many past lives I have lived where I have been doing this, it's very automatic for me. Like I don't take 5-10 minutes like some people do where they have to prepare themselves for a reading to open or to close. To me, it's instantaneous. If I want to be open, I'm open. If I want to close, I want to close. So it's very, very spontaneous type of thing.
Yep.
So, but so Nikki said, Brandy, those are definitely abilities. I'm not surprised that you have abilities. We often lose our abilities because we don't want them. We suppress those abilities, or we taught we shouldn't be like that. So yes. And she says, I'm not mad, jealous maybe, but not mad. So, because Nikki's still going through her awakening, and she just hasn't hit that peak to where she has hit the stride where a lot of folks have told her she's supposed to be at, or where she will end up. So that's what
she's divinely timed and always on time.
I told her a lot of it is because I told her a lot of her lockdown is because of the fact she doesn't want to have this all of a sudden happen while she's at school. while she's teaching.
Fair.
So
That's fair. Yeah.
so yes.
Yeah, that could be really comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, because she already does the empath thing at school.
Mhm.
You know, so she's had to learn how to block that while she's teaching and not come home exhausted.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's done much better at that. So I'm very proud of her for that. But now she's back in school and now she's dealing with it all over again. So
Yeah.
because they started school out here already. Okay, well, I think we covered about 9,000 topics.
We did.
Maybe 9,001. And we did it all. And look, this was all brought down. And we actually survived a little bit.
And everything's been good.
It's been pretty good since then. So, you know, knock on wood. So, see? Mine's just hollow. Can you hear that?
Mine is too. I do that all the time.
Mine's pretty hollow.
I don't even think this is real wood, but we'll use that anyway.
But yeah, so anyways, I think that's a good place to leave it for this time because you know you're coming on again later.
Yeah, sure.
I'll definitely, but I'm going to wait until, like I said, for you, I think I try to pull every 6 months roughly because it gives you time to go break other stuff. And then we come on and talk about everything that's been broken.
I love it. I love it.
But do me a favor, don't run away. I'm going to put you backstage, close down the show, and I'm going to come back and talk to you for a couple of minutes. So, but
thanks for having me. It's always an honor.
Everyone say goodnight to Erin. Good night, Erin. Woo.
Good night.
Thanks for being on, and I will be back shortly. So don't go anywhere. All right, everyone, that's the show. Thank you again, as always, for being on. As I mentioned earlier, I will be doing a Friday show, which is a little different, but we are going to do a Friday show, and it's really going to be more along the lines of an advertisement show for the Phantasm that's going to be happening, but you're still going to want to stay tuned as well because it is a combination of horror as well as paranormal, so we will probably talk about some things that happen on both sides of the house. Bill Slevin, if you haven't met him yet, he's a fantastic person. He's been on quite a few things, and he's done quite a few different things in the paranormal world. He's actually my director for my Paranormal Existence Research Society, that little round one down there. He's actually the overall director, and I'm the Midwest director out here for that. But you're going to want to come on. We'll all talk some shop about a little bit of everything, just like I did with Erin Friday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. So feel free to come on. We will see you Friday. Other than that, stay safe, and we will talk to you later.